Hey you guys, so I just want to update the video that I made about men not caring about a woman's career. And I would say there's a big difference because in general, women, we want to know what are you going to add to our lives? Because we know you're going to want us for sex. You're going to want us to do the cleaning and the cooking and the housework and the nourishing. You know that we're the ones that are the nourisher of the relationships. We're more likely to do the personal development work, to plan the activities, to mother the children. So there's a lot you want from us. So we want to be like, well, you got to provide. At least you have to be financially stable. And you have to be financially secure enough that you can take care of us when we're having your children. So that's why we care more about a man's financial stability, because we know that you're going to require our emotional and spiritual energy. And unless you're providing financially, you're going to be a drag on a woman. That's why a lot of women are single now, because when we make our own money, then we're like, well, what are you bringing to the table? We know what women bring to the table. You want our bodies, you want our nourishing energy, you want our caretaking, our interest in personal development, our nourishing energy, our beauty. Like we all want something from the other person, else why be in a friendship? So you have to be financially stable, and that's important to us, and that's important to me and a man. I do not want to provide for a man. And a man doesn't feel the same way. He doesn't go to a woman for financial security or financial stability necessarily, or financial provisioning, but he wants a woman that's going to take care of him sexually, take care of his house, and be nourishing. So that's what he wants, and that's kind of like a lot of how we're culturally raised. But I will say that a man absolutely cares that a woman has something going on, and that's why we see a lot of these rich guys go after models. They don't want, the average guy isn't going to go for some beauty who's working at McDonald's. He wants someone who's cultured and intelligent. And the guys who've gone to the Ivy League schools, they want a career woman. They're not going to date the woman from McDonald's. So, but I guess what it really comes down to, I want to add two things to the video. One, I want to give you guys, I want to acknowledge what some of you have left in the comments, that a man is not looking to a woman's career for financial security the way that we look to a man for financial security. And I will agree with you on that. However, there are men who will not marry a woman who is not a breadwinner. And I know a lot of guys like that, and I'm not going to throw shade at these guys. I was married to a guy like that. I was married to a guy who, when he married me, he's like, oh yeah, she's getting her bachelor's in computer science, and she's going to be a provider in this relationship. And he resented that I stayed home with the kids. Now, the real estate broker I worked for thought that was all a bunch of crock, because he was a good earner as an executive in the manufacturing industry in the 70s and 80s, and he liked providing for his wife and his kids. He liked that. So I want to say there's some men who like providing, and there are a lot of men who do not like providing. My ex-husband hated providing. I know a lot of men who are marrying a woman that is an equal breadwinner. So I don't think we can paint all men with the same brush and be like, we don't care about your career, because a lot of men do care about the woman's career, either because they cannot afford to be the provider or they don't want to. Not all men want to be a provider. A lot of men don't. They don't. I've met guys like that. But there are other men who are like, well, I'll be the provider and she is the beauty object. My experience with men is they want to provide and they want to be with a woman who also works and provides. That's my experience, you know? Although there are certainly exceptions. So that's the first point. First point is, you guys are spot on, that a man is not as concerned with a woman being the financial stability in the relationship. But number two, a lot of guys do not want to be the provider. So when they're vagina hunting, they don't care. But when they're marrying, they want a woman who also works because they have financial goals in mind. They want to be able to buy a house. They're not as financially secure as they used to be. And they want a woman who contributes financially. And number three, there's a certain class of guy who wants to control women and who tries to put women down and who tries to negate her accomplishments. And that's the real thing that I bristle at with these guys who are like, well, we don't care about your career. Because the way they say it is with such disdain and disrespect for the women who have worked hard and are accomplished. Did you know that women are out earning men now? Women are out earning men. Women in their 20s are out earning men. And these women have worked freaking hard in high school, on their SATs, in college. It's not easy to go to college, okay? It's freaking hard. You need discipline, you need motivation, you need tenacity, you need intellectual ability to concentrate. You have to keep a goal in mind. You have to forego a lot of fun and pleasure as you're studying late nights, studying for tests, and you can't go out. And it shows a great ability of character. And to graduate from college, you have to be able to give speeches and listen to other points of view and read difficult texts and maintain an accountability to a schedule. You got to have your life in order, okay? And a lot of guys do not want a woman who's financially irresponsible. They want a woman who's financially responsible. And I don't like when men are like, well, we don't give a shit about your career, because they're basically diminishing a woman's accomplishments. And that is what I bristle at the most, because they are totally undermining everything that it took for that woman to get to college, to go through college, and to work and build herself up in her career and to be financially independent. And some men don't want women to be financially independent. Like the guys on Fresh and Fit, for example, those kind of guys that are like, we don't care what women do for work, because they want to control you and they want to dominate you, and they know that their only strength comes from putting you down. I think that it's one thing to say, I don't like when women are entitled. It's one thing to say, I don't like women who are entitled or who are rude or who are condescending to men. But it's a totally different thing to put a woman down for her accomplishments and say they don't matter, because they absolutely matter. Everything that we put our energy in, that we have devoted our resources and our time to, is something that's important to us. And I'm very proud of my degree in computer science. I'm so fucking proud of my bachelor's degree in computer science, a subject that to this day few women major in, and my MBA. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of the parenting classes I took, the personal development courses I took, all the vegetarian books I read and the cookbooks I read, and my accomplishments. I'm proud because it shows that I put my energy towards purposeful activities that enriched me and made me the person that I am. And for a guy to come along and say that doesn't matter is a guy that I would never want to be with at all. It's a guy I would never want to be with at all. To just diminish a woman's accomplishments like that is a huge turnoff. And what we have found is that now that women make our own money, we are like, what are you guys bringing to the table? And most men are not bringing anything to the table. That's why we have a rise in single, lonely men, because they are useless. If it isn't for their ability to provide, which most men are not able to do at all, they're kind of useless to a woman who's like, well, I'm going to give you sex. I'm going to keep the house. I'm going to take care of the kids, because that's in our nature. That's just what we like to do. That's just what we do, whether you're in our lives or not. And we're like, well, what are you going to contribute? 5 minutes of dick? Which there's a 95% chance your dick game is off. I made a really long video on my Just for Fans today. I'm going to make a video for the members after I make this video to give them some good sex tips and vulva touching tips. But 99% of men have no vulva game. They lay down dick in a very bad way, which is thrusting for their own pleasure, and women are not having an orgasm at all. So what are you guys contributing to a woman's life? Now, I will say there is a percentage of men who add tremendously to a woman's life. There is a percentage of men who add to a woman's life, and I do not know what that percentage is. I don't know if it's 3% or 20% or maybe even 50%. I don't know. But the majority of men I see online that are talking and the kind of comments they make and the fact that they're even following the manosphere stuff, they are predators and they are depleting a woman. And when women make their own money, they're like, we want that small percentage of men who add to our lives. And the way they add to our lives is that they're emotionally whole. They don't add drama. They're calm. They're strong. They're fun. They're easygoing. And they actually know how to understand women. And the only men I know in my life like this are my sons. The only reason I even have hope for men today is because I see what kind of men my sons are. They're masculine, they're emotionally competent, they're pursuing their careers, they love learning, they're funny, they take care of themselves, and the women in relationships with them are thriving. That's how I know. Because, a lot of guys have really bad dick game, or they're lazy, or they're fat, or they're entitled, or just read some of the comments. I have to mute half the guys who leave comments on here because they're just drama queens and bitches. Want to complain and control me and just leave all kinds of wild comments like, sir, get a grip. Okay? So the majority of men that I encounter are not contributing to my life at all. So that's why I make a lot of these videos. But there is a percentage of men who contribute to women's lives. And these men are not diminishing women for their careers. They're saying stuff like, I am so impressed with your accomplishments, knowing that they're not looking to those accomplishments to be a source of financial security for them, but that's important to the woman, that they're able to see a woman can have her own pleasure, her own friends, and her own accomplishments that I can revel in as a man without it needing to benefit me personally. Because men need women more than women need men. And a lot of guys are like, well, we're going to go to Thailand. Go. Because there you will find women who are going to be with you because they have no other options. They're not with you because they think you're hot. They're with you because they're poor. So you can go prey on these women in Thailand and Asia who are going to be with you only because they have no money. Because when women have money, they don't want your ass. They don't want your old, wrinkly ass to be your caretaker, to be your nurse. If the only women that will want you are impoverished women in third world countries, go. We don't want you either. And that's just what I want to say. And if you don't like my videos, then go change the channel. This is free. You're not paying for this. So don't come on here and complain. Some of these men want to complain. That's not masculine. Now you're being a bottom bitch. A masculine man is calm and measured, and he would look at my videos and be like, this lady's spitting some truth bombs here. You know what a masculine man says when he watches my videos? He's like, I'm in that 40% of guys who've got it together, and this woman is just spitting some truth bombs at these losers. Because a masculine man sees all the men who are losers. Just like me, as a feminine woman, I see all the women who are controlling, bitchy, mean and abusive to men and to their children. I see the gold diggers. I see the plastic surgery bimbos. I see the abusive women, the controlling women, the borderline women, and I'm against all of it. Because healthy people are going to be like, I'm glad I'm in a healthy person, and I do not like people of my gender who misrepresent the beauty of my gender. So a healthy man is going to be like, yeah, Sharza, you go. ladies, do not put up with the bullshit from these men. That's what a healthy man says. But the bottom bitches, guys, the whiny, complaining victim guys, they're going to be all up in here complaining because they're bottom bitches. And those are the guys that we abhor and do not like. And that's a lot of guys out there. And we don't want your bullshit. You take your stinky ass elsewhere. But the guys who have it together, they're going to laugh at my videos and be like, yeah, you tell these idiots to step it up because they need to.